Hello everyone, I'm Grazia Tassio, and this is my usual week, the week for the 12 Ascendants, when I'm telling you in an overview what to expect from the celestial configurations this week, and also how this will manifest for each of the 12 Ascendants. You can see the time stamps for each of the 12 Ascendants under this video. So before I start Ascendant per Ascendant, just to give you a brief overview on what is happening on the sky this week. So the interesting and beautiful event, of course, is that Jupiter and Venus are together. I have a separate video on this, and you may like to see it. This is indeed a very beautiful event. Venus and Jupiter are together with Ketu, Saturn, Pluto in the sign of Sagittarius. And all this is very interesting, and this is of course emphasis on the sign of Sagittarius, also because the first lunar crescent, which is marking the next lunar month, is also going to take place in the sign of Sagittarius. So there is an emphasis on the Jupiterian energies, on all that is happening in the sign of Sagittarius, emphasis on knowledge, emphasis on philosophical value system, and emphasis on spirituality, just all these beautiful Jupiterian energies. And also towards the end of the week, another very important and not that positive event is that Jupiter is becoming invisible, hiding in the rays of the sun. And with this, we're losing part of the blessing of Jupiter. But for this, I also have very detailed separate video. Another interesting thing is that this week already, Mercury became visible, and Mercury is visible in the sign of Sidereal Libra together with Mars. Mercury and Mars are together in Libra, and with this, of course, the sign of Libra becomes Mercury in Libra, the sign of Libra, which is promising what? Exact knowledges, design, beauty. This is being emphasized. But because Mars and Mercury are together, of course, all that Mercury means, like communication, eloquence, speech, travel if you want, knowledge, sharing knowledge with others, astrology, a lot, trade, commerce, all this is being a little bit disturbed by the conjunction with Mars and Mercury. And this conjunction, you probably notice around you that this can create different disturbances, like in communication services, in trade, in the postal services, just everything that Mercury represents. So this is another thing that is happening this week. So this week, Monday is starting with the last lunar crescent, and then we are going to have 3 days of lunar invisibility. So 25th, last lunar crescent, when the moon is marking the end of the month. And then the 26th, the 27th, and the 28th, these 3 days are marked with the moon, which is hiding in the rays of the sun. The lunar god descends into the netherworld to deal with the destinies of the dead. So these are days definitely not appropriate for particular new beginnings, important events, surgeries, because when the moon is not having the typical normal path which promises good results in our activities, we really can give more attention to spirituality, knowledge, and not so much to very, very important business events, for example. So this is only about this week, from Monday, 25th of November. And let me tell you now how this will influence the 12 ascendants. Of course, I'm starting with Aries. Now for you, the beautiful conjunction of Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Pluto is happening on your 9th house, and this is indeed very interesting. This is certainly influencing a lot your life already for quite some time, actually, of course not only this week. And this is because these planets are creating harmonious aspect towards your ascendant, hopefully for good, for knowledge, for studies, for travel, for communication abroad. So in this sense, this conjunction is very good. Then on the very same moment, you have in Mars and Mercury on your 7th house, which can create disturbances with your relationships in general, and also in your romantic life, in your friendships, at work. So this is where you may need to be a bit careful. This week, therefore, for you may not be very appropriate to negotiate or to travel or to do new beginnings. No, the week is for no one appropriate for invasive surgical interventions. Okay, so this was for Aries, but actually, before I continue on to Taurus ascendant for you, the planets which are trining your ascendant are on the other hand really blessing, because this can be really very good for your spiritual life, for your knowledge, for continuing or deepening your studies. So in this sense, also this week can be very, very fruitful. Financially also, the week is not bad. Now we're looking at Taurus ascendant. Now for you, your ascendant ruler, together with Jupiter, together with Ketu, Saturn, Pluto, they're all in your 8th house. And with this, you will not experience very, very powerfully the conjunction of Jupiter and Venus. But on the other hand, this can be good for sudden or surprising incomes, and can be also good for the incomes of your partners, say, for partner. You may have some challenges with subordinates in your work environment. You may need also to be a bit responsible and cautious with your health this week. Other than that, the week is not very appropriate, for example, to negotiate or to travel or to make new beginnings, but it's good to maintain the status quo, and it's good more to give attention to the benefits that your partner may have from the week or financially than your own, because the beautiful conjunction is more related to his or her incomes, or to surprising incomes that may be coming to you. On the other hand, in terms of spirituality, in terms of reviewing or discovering spiritual ancient knowledge, the week can be very, very nice. For no one, this week is good for new beginnings, and it's also not very appropriate for invasive surgical interventions. And I mentioned why. We're having the 3 days of invisibility of the moon. Okay, so this was about Taurus ascendant. Now we're looking at Gemini. Now for you, Gemini ascendant, Jupiter, Venus conjunction, Ketu, Saturn, Pluto is happening on your 7th house. And this is influencing your personality for better now, even though soon Jupiter is going to disappear. But Venus and Jupiter are softening a lot the influences of Saturn and Pluto. Really, they are, this is the helping hand from heaven. In this sense, this is if you experienced already some challenges in your private life with relationship, work, this is a helping hand. It's like a moment when Jupiter and Venus are helping also in your private life. Financially, I don't see, the week is okay. Just be cautious a bit. The Mars and Mercury conjunction is something that can create disturbance in relation to communication, or how you convey messages, or how you communicate with others, also with your studies, also with your communication with children. So in this sense, it's good that you're revising or well preparing for every activity. You may travel, you may for negotiations this week is really not very, very appropriate. When you travel, also do this carefully. Health-wise, the week looks okay for me. Just maintain the status quo, and really Jupiter and Venus are helping hand for you this week. Okay, now we're looking at Cancer ascendant. For you, your ascendant ruler Jupiter with, Jupiter is, apologies. Your ascendant ruler is going to have the first visibility over your 6th house, the moon. And of course, with this, the moon is emphasizing on Jupiter, Venus, Ketu, Saturn, Pluto in your 6th house. So your 6th house is quite a lot emphasized. With this, the 6th house is important. Your routine, your your subordinates, your health. So it's good that you're responsible for your health. It's good that you're also careful and not trustful when it comes to relationship with in your work environment with your subordinates. It's really good to be cautious. To also be careful when communicated with superiors. Be patient and loving at home. Especially this Mars-Mercury conjunction can affect your communication with superiors at work, your plans. This week is not appropriate for new beginnings and new plans. More concentrate on the routine. You may travel, but all this cautiously, because Mars and Mercury together, they create some disturbances for everyone. The week is not appropriate for new beginnings because the moon is going to have 3 days of invisibility this week, so the moon is hiding in the rays of the sun. So after the first lunar crescent, it will be another story. Be responsible for your health. Don't be trustful with your subordinates, colleagues. There is a bit where you should be cautious. Use your powerful intuition. You are not in danger. You're not in trouble. But I just say that it's good to be not to trust and to be careful with people, because very much your 6th house is being emphasized this week. So this was for Cancer rising. Now we're looking at Leo ascendant. Now for you, luckily Venus, Jupiter are joining already for some days, but are joining Saturn, Pluto in your 5th house, and this is a bit luckier in terms of communication with your children. And also, I used to say all the time, be attentive, cautious with your children. Well, Venus is now helpful there, so it would be easy in this direction, easier. The week can be wonderful for studies, those that do not really necessarily require, those that are not very traditional, can be good for procedures which are not procedures, but activities which are related to artistic work, for enjoying beauty, creating beauty, and not so much for new beginnings because of the lunar invisibility, which I explained about. So the week can be, you may travel, negotiate, not appropriate, but also if you travel because of the Mars and Mercury conjunction, prepare very well for everything, and just be cautious. In terms of incomes, this Venus and Jupiter together in your 5th house work better for you than last week. Of course, let's not forget that towards the end of the week, Jupiter is becoming invisible, but still Venus is on your 5th house, and this is quite blessed. It's really something very nice for your children, very nice for if you desire to create something beauty, very nice for your studies, and also absolutely not bad for your incomes. So this was about Leo ascendant, and now we're looking at Virgo ascendant. Your ascendant ruler is Virgo ascendant, is visible as a morning star. So Jupiter can be seen, Mercury, can be seen early in the morning, very, very early in the morning before the sun rises, but is together with Mars. And Mars and Mercury together, this can work because this is your ascendant ruler. Mercury can work a little bit, can make you a little bit worried, can make your mind restless. This is Mercury and Mars together. This can create some disturbances also in the way you make your money. So be very, very cautious, be very, very thoughtful, be very, very well prepared. Every single activity do after very good preparation work. Now on your 4th house, you have in Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Pluto all together. And this is good for your home. This is much better than having only Saturn and Pluto there. Venus and Jupiter are giving this their helping hand at home, also in relation to what is happening at work. However, even though this is bringing better times at work, the timing is not appropriate for new initiatives or for new communication or discussions with superior. Just wait until the first lunar crescent will be visible. But this week, the week is more like easier energies are coming at your work, but still not that appropriate for discussing new plans, new ideas, or improving the relationship with superiors if needed. Just enjoy the better energies which are preparing for even better development at your work or at home, because of Jupiter-Venus conjunction Ketu, Saturn, Pluto on your fourth house. Jupiter and Venus are softening enormously the energies of Saturn and Pluto that are squaring for quite some time your ascendant. The week for you is not very appropriate to communicate, to negotiate, also not very appropriate to travel. Just be a little bit cautious and very well prepared, like really the work preparation also this week is valid for you. Okay, this was for Virgo ascendant. Now we're looking at Libra ascendant. Now you're having Mars and Mercury on your ascendant. This is very active. It's not bad. Mercury is visible. You can see Mercury on the eastern horizon before the sun rises, so this is very good. But when you have Mars and Mercury together on the ascendant, this can be a little bit disturbing when it comes to communication, negotiations, trade, even postal services. Everything can be influenced by this Mars-Mercury conjunction. And when it's happening on your ascendant, it's good to know that this is not the most appropriate. Even though you may have desires, this is not very appropriate timing for communication or negotiation, not even for traveling. On the other hand, on your third house, you have Venus, Jupiter, joining Saturn and Pluto, and this will be very nice for your spiritual work, for consciousness growth, enhancing your intuition. So this can be very nice in this sense. The week is for no one appropriate so much for new beginnings, but is appropriate for spiritual work, for doing your activities just routinely without taking any risks. When Mars is on the ascendant detriment, you should know that it's time. This is a time just to be careful not to get involved into risky situations. This is important message because after 2 weeks, the situation will be much better. When Mars enters his own place, your second house certainly will be better, but just now be a little bit patient and use your intuition. And actually also you can benefit from these productive otherwise energies of Mercury and Mars together on your ascendant in terms of designing, creating beauty. You can still benefit from these energies because Mars and Mercury together in Libra, and especially the visible Mercury, can be very practical and productive when it comes to something creative and nice and beautiful. Okay, so this was about Libra ascendant, and now we're looking at Scorpio rising, Scorpio ascendant. The sun is still on your ascendant to give you beautiful solar energies and health. Let's hope good health. On the other hand, Jupiter and Venus are in your second house to soften the energies of Saturn and Pluto. And this is good and should have a good impact on your finances. However, this week is good to maintain the status quo, not to do anything new, and a little bit to do it easy because we're having 3 days invisibility of the moon. Your ascendant ruler is on your 12th house together with Mercury. This can create disturbances a little bit in your sleep, can mean that you may desire self solitude or isolation. Also could be that you may need to be a little bit cautious and not trust people around you. This could create some people that are not very friendly towards you. But this is phase which will pass, and soon Mars is coming on your ascendant, so this is not forever, of course. So when Venus is entering your second house, this is helpful for your finances, but this week, as I said, is not appropriate for new beginnings, not appropriate also for so much because of Mars and Mercury on your 12th house, not so appropriate for traveling and negotiations. Just give it some time until the first next lunar crescent will be shown, and this will be like in 4 or 5 days. And we're having then Sagittarius ascendant. Now, Venus and Jupiter are on your ascendant. This is beautiful and softening very much the energies of Saturn and Pluto, which are heavy and tense. So Saturn, Pluto on your ascendant, but softened enormously by the presence of Venus and Jupiter. You know, Saturn loves Venus. So I'm sure you already feel the better, certainly. On the other hand, you're having Mercury and Mars on your 11th house. This can be interesting and productive in terms of incomes, but can also be a bit well, challenging with the people that are surrounding you. Can create some disturbances or some energies that are a little bit like not very harmonious when it comes to relationship with people or with friends. Also, in terms of making money, gains, this could mean that you need to be very focused and very well organized, because the 11th house is also house of gains and profit and money. So once Mars and Mercury are together, and this can mean that this can be very productive in terms of incomes, but can also create disturbances. Therefore, the right word here is good discipline, organization, scheduling, putting things in a time frame so that your incomes are well organized. However, this week is not very appropriate for new beginnings. I mentioned about the 3 days of lunar invisibility and the last lunar crescent on Monday. So somewhere after Friday, we can think of some new initiatives. Not very appropriate to travel or negotiate for no one. And this is because Mercury and Mars are together, and all kinds of surprises and disturbances are possible. But yes, Venus on your ascendant is something beautiful. Enjoy her beautiful energies. And she is also like a guard for you this week. And now we're looking at Capricorn ascendant. Your ascendant ruler now in your 12th house is with Venus and Jupiter, and this is very nice. This must be giving you joy already, like better feeling. Like if you felt the tense energies of Pluto, Saturn together in your 12th house, now this should be better for your health. This should be improving your sleep, I'm sure. On the other hand, you be a little bit careful at work. Don't really rush to communicate or negotiate with superiors, because Mars and Mercury together on your career place can create disturbances and unexpected results. Be careful, therefore. This can result in some tension at home. For this reason, I would say, also because on Monday is the last lunar crescent, then we're having 3 days of lunar invisibility up until Thursday. This week, I would say, be a bit, wait until the first lunar crescent is appearing, and then this is certainly better timing for some activities. For no one is appropriate while the moon is invisible to do any particular important events, decisions, whatever. So this is important to tell you. But on the other hand, Venus is joining together with Jupiter, your ascendant ruler, and this must be good. This must be improving your health, and in general, just you must feel luckier already. Okay, now we're looking at Aquarius ascendant. Now for you, Saturn, your ascendant ruler on your 11th house, also is seeing now Venus and Jupiter, and this is better. And this is really nice. This can be better in terms of improving relationship with friends, your social circle. It will be better for your incomes. However, this week is not appropriate for new beginnings for no one, because, as I said, Monday is last lunar crescent, and we're having a 3 days lunar invisibility, and only after that is the first lunar crescent. Which is happening actually on your 11th house. This is good. This will be good for your finances. On the other hand, because Mars and Mercury are together on your 9th house, the week may not be very, very appropriate to travel or to communicate with people abroad. Just be patient. Use these energies, which are very kind of powerful. Use them for knowledge, for like direct them towards knowledge, studies, finishing knowledge. But this can happen if you organize your studies very well. So this was for Aquarius Ascendant. I don't know if I mentioned financially the week looks okay for you, but do not really do active business, because during the lunar invisibility the results just can come after. Okay, now we have in Pisces Ascendant. Now for you, your ascendant ruler Jupiter together with Venus is on your 10th house. This is very good because finally it's a relief. Jupiter, Venus meeting Saturn, Pluto. This is a relief. At work, this would already bring some softer, sweeter, nicer energies. If you felt already for quite some time tension at work, or environment which you don't like, environment which you find boring, or you probably have already sensed or feel some better energies. This is because Jupiter and Venus are entering your 10th house. Jupiter entered, Venus also. So this is good. On the other hand, the Sun is trining your ascendant from the sign of Scorpio. And this is also should give you good energies, desire to study. This is all nice. The week for you is not very appropriate to travel or to negotiate, but this is almost valid almost for everyone. And it is due to the fact that we have now on Monday the last lunar crescent, and we're having 3 days of lunar invisibility. Only after Thursday, with the first appearance of the first lunar crescent on your career place, we can really think of some like really active business or work life. So really do up until Thursday more like not really very actively, just maintain the routine, but still try to see and sense this better and more comfortable environment at work. I hope you feel it already, and you certainly will. Okay, with this I'm completing my week for the 12 ascendants. Thank you for your attention, and my contacts are under this video.